Hola, my name is Ramon, cosmetic formulator and sunscreen fanatic, and today we're talking about my personal favorite sunscreens for oily skin. I get asked all the time what sunscreens I recommend for specific skin types, and therefore over the next few weeks I will be uploading dedicated videos on sunscreen recommendations for specific skin types, so make sure you subscribe to see those. But for today we're talking about my personal favorite choices for oily skin types, both with a more matte oil control finish as well as a more hydrating radiant finish. I won't be getting too in depth on these sunscreens we're going to talk about today, but I will have the links for the dedicated reviews for them down in the description box. And do also note, these are based off my own personal experience and use. Skin is subjective, but these ones that work well for me and I recommend for oily skin individuals. Starting off with the more mattifying oil control options, first one I have is from Biore and it's their Athlizm Skin Protect Essence. This is a really great Japanese sunscreen offering really high photoprotective values that is also really water resistant. This is high in alcohol, something worth noting, but it sets down really quick. It's non-existent on the skin. It gives you a nice natural skin finish for hours throughout the day. It's also really nice to reapply and is very water resistant and sweat resistant as well. And next is its sister offering. This is from Kose. It's their SunCut UV Perfect Gel, super waterproof. Pretty similar in the whole experience. It's alcohol heavy, so it sets down really quick, super lightweight on the skin. It basically disappears. You have a nice natural finish, and it is also super water resistant and sweat resistant as well. I interchange between the two if I'm in the mood to use those kind of sunscreens, but what I really enjoy is the fact that they sit lightweight on the skin, you don't feel them, and they also reapply beautifully throughout the day as well. The next few options are also more mattifying, but they're also more primer-like, so they're going to give you a nice oil-controlled finish as well as giving you a nice diffused look on the skin, kind of minimizing texture and some imperfections, which means they also sit great underneath makeup, although technically these all do. And first and foremost, it's the Black Girl Sunscreen Make It Matte. This is just a really great US drugstore sunscreen. It's nicely moisturizing on the skin, so this is definitely an option I would replace as a moisturizer and sunscreen in one. Gives you a really nice diffused finish, super lightweight on the skin. It's also water resistant and sweat resistant and reapplies beautifully throughout the day as well. Although this is not one I'd want to reapply on top of makeup, while most of these other ones are. Next is another drugstore option. This one's from Kroger. So if you have a Kroger branded supermarket near you, can get this there. If not, it's easy to get online if you are based in the US. This is their Invisible Gel Sunscreen, and this is essentially Kroger's response to the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. It is $11. You get 3 fluid ounces. It's a more moisturizing texture. Again, it's a little bit heavier on the skin. It does have mineral oil, but I don't see it as being acne causing, pore clogging at all. This gives you a nice matte diffuse finish, super lightweight on the skin. This does have a couple citrus essential oils in it, so do note that, but to me, it was a really great experience. No sensitivity, and it's also water resistant, which Supergoop isn't. So this is one I like to use on days where I'm wearing makeup or even without makeup. I just want to have a little bit more of a blurred finish. Really nice option. And next is one of my favorite mineral sunscreens. This is from Sunbum. This is their Tinted Face Lotion, SPF 30. This is same as the other few, diffusing, more mattifying finish, preps the face nicely for makeup, but it's a mineral sunscreen that leaves minimal to no white cast. One of my favorite mineral sunscreens I've reviewed. It is also water resistant. So if you have more oily skin, this water resistant option I think is a really great thing to have because that means it's sweat, water, technically more sebum resistant as well. So it's going to stay on your face a little bit longer and give you more long wearability. And it's also drugstores though. This next one is actually technically a primer. It's less of a sunscreen in that regard. And this is from Cotz. It's their Face Prime and Protect SPF 40. This is one where I don't want to use it on my face all over. This is one I use more targeted where I want to actually prime. This really does blur. This really does mattify. And this really preps the face really nicely for makeup application. This is targeted for me right next to my nose, on my nose, and on my eyelids. This mattifies the house down. So if you have some areas that are prone to dryness, I would avoid those. But aside from that, this is arguably one of the best eyelid primers I've used as well. So really great if you have really oily eyelids like I do. And this next one is from Village 11. This is their Hydra Sun Fluid SPF 50+. This is a Korean sunscreen that when I first used it gave me vibes of the Black Girl Make It Matte sunscreen, but it is a little bit different in how it like sits on the skin and feels on the skin. It's a little bit more lightweight to me while still being kind of moisturizing. The big difference for me is that this one is not water resistant. This one smells nice, has a nice little fragrance to it. And this one generally applies really nicely on top of makeup as well if you're going to reapply throughout the day. The Black Girl sunscreen doesn't due to the primer-like quality of that one, whereas this one, same texture and feel, but it actually goes on top of makeup really nicely. Check my review video for that makeup reapplication footage, but arguably it's a really nice sunscreen for that. And next is one of my favorite sunscreens for a matte and oil controlled finish throughout the entire day. This is from Garnier Ambre Solaire. This is their Sensitive Advanced Face UV Face Fluid. This is an EU only option, so if you're based in the States, I might have options for you to get it, but it's not as easy as here in the UK. This is £8. It's technically a drugstore sunscreen here in the UK that when you put it on, it's super lightweight on the face, sets down instantly. importantly, you are matte and your oil is controlled for hours throughout the day, and it preps your skin really nicely for makeup. I believe this is also a really nice option for reapplication as well, since it's just really continuing that oil controlled finish throughout the entire day, but it's definitely a really good option if you have really oily skin and you want to be really matte. And next is technically the sister for that one. It's the La Roche-Posay Anthelios Shock of Fluid. Word on the street is, since they're both owned by the same company, it's essentially the same formulation. It might be tweaked a little bit for each different brand, but same product, same feel, same texture, same finish. I think the Ambre Solaire is a little bit more matte, oil controlled than the Shock of Fluid one is, but they both have a same lightweight, liquidy texture on the skin, and they both sit under makeup beautifully and reapply on top of makeup really well as well. Real talk, for me, it just comes down to what kind of budget do you have. If you're on the lower end of that budget, the Garnier. If you have a little bit more money you're willing to spend, the Shock of Fluid. The Anthelios specifically has a very transparent UVA PF value of, I believe, 46, so you know what you're getting with that one. The Garnier, you don't necessarily, so if you're betting on them being the same formulation, you can assume it's the same for both, but realistically, I think that Anthelios one is marketed as being more high photoprotective value. And next is arguably one of my favorite sunscreens of this year thus far. It's taken the title already, I don't care about the other ones, and it's from Eucerin, Oil Control Sun Cream. This is a beautiful plush gel texture on the skin, works in super quick, super easy, super lightweight, lightly moisturizing and hydrating, but like lightly, there's no emolliency to it. And it controls your oil production throughout the entire day. It reapplies on top of makeup beautifully as well. And so it's one that's gonna keep you nicely natural satin matte finish for hours and hours and hours. Your makeup's gonna look beautiful throughout the entire day, even if you don't wear makeup. That is arguably my favorite. It's 16 pounds, so it's kind of mid-tier drugstore price, but if you're here in the UK, you can get it really easily at Boots. If you're based outside of the UK, I know Care to Beauty does ship internationally, so stock up if you can. Next one is from Jack Black. This is their oil-free sun guard SPF 45. You can see this one, you get a lot of product and it's actually a really good value overall. This is a combination sunscreen, so you're getting both mineral and chemical filters, but this, the finish on the skin, natural satin finish. It has really nice long wearability. It is water resistant as well. It just sits really nice underneath makeup. I would argue it's nicely moisturizing without it being really emollient. It does have a little bit of a richer lotion texture to it, but you're not going to be shiny and greasy. And I find that this kept me really nicely oil controlled for hours throughout the day, and makeup sat really nicely on top of it as well. This one you can get pretty much everywhere. I haven't had an issue in the UK or in the US. So if you want to get more bang for your buck, something that's going to be a little bit more of a natural finish, but also moisturizing, this is something that I think would be a really good option. And so that's it for my more matte oil controlled sunscreens. Next are the ones that are going to be really lightweight, oily skin friendly, but give you a more radiant finish. I wanted to give you guys options just because I know if you have oily skin, you don't always want to be like super matte, super flat, and you want some variety in your sunscreen. So these are ones I find are really, really lightweight, but they're not going to be super greasy and heavy on the skin and just like melt everywhere. And the first one we're going to talk about is arguably one of my other holy grail sunscreens, and this one is the Eco Earth Power Aqua Sun Gel from the Saem. This is just a really nice, lightweight, liquidy sunscreen, melts beautifully into the skin, gives you a very like naturally radiant finish. It's just, it smells good, it feels good, lightly moisturizing, preps the skin beautifully for makeup, and reapplies beautifully on top. I always reach for this if I just don't know what to wear, just because it's done me good for so long. High humidity, really dry winter, random like in the middle spring day, it works for everything. All-time favorite. And then next one is arguably one of the most popular sunscreens I've ever reviewed on this channel. It's from Can Make. It's their Mermaid Skin Gel UV, the clear one. Make sure you get the clear one, not the white one, just make sure. This one is a really good lightweight gel Japanese sunscreen that is alcohol free, worth noting. It just gives your skin a really nice boost of hydration and moisture without being greasy, so you're nicely radiant and dewy, but again, it's not sticky, it's not heavy, and you don't look oily. There's a very fine line to tread. This doesn't cross it. So a really good option. Only problem is that it's kind of small, worth noting, but if you get it on sale, get it in bulk, it's a pretty good sunscreen. And then another one, this is from Isntree. This is their Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel. This is a great option if you have dehydrated oily skin like I do. A lot of times if you have oily skin, it's a matter of your skin overproducing oil to compensate for basically a lack of moisture, and that's what I have. And this has 8 different types of hyaluronic acid up in there, so you're getting a nice quench of hydration, and this gives your skin a really nice lightweight moisturized kick without it being heavy again on the skin, and you're also just prepping your skin really nicely for the day. this is one of those options that you skip moisturizer for because this is that product, but your makeup looks great on top of it. It reapplies beautifully on top of makeup. So definitely a really good option if you have dehydrated oily skin. And another similar option, this one is from Garnier. This is their Ambre Solaire Anti-Age Super UV. A nice lightweight liquidy texture that is nicely lightweight and moisturizing on the skin. Not a lot going on with this one. It just feels really nice on the skin. Does have niacinamide up in there, so you're boosting some moisturization potential, helping with some brightening and some anti-inflammatory benefits. So overall, if you're looking for a very straight to the point, affordable sunscreen and you're based in the EU or the UK, great option at the drugstore. And then next I have the Skin Aqua UV Super Moisture Gel. This is arguably a dupe for the Crave Beat the Sun sunscreen. It's a moisturizing sunscreen, gives your skin a very radiant glow to it, but it's not heavy or greasy on the skin. This is the sunscreen you want if you want to moisturize your skin and have a glowier finish, but you also do want some water resistant and sweat resistant benefits as well. This is the one I'm actually wearing today underneath my makeup, and I wore it while I was working out. This did not run, it didn't reactivate, it sat on my skin really nicely. So definitely one to consider if you want to have a boost of moisture, you don't mind radiant finish, or you have more dehydrated skin as well. Again, this is also a larger bottle for a really affordable price. I believe this was $10 for 140 grams. So also a great value. And the last two are mineral sunscreens because, again, variety. The first one is from Cocokind. It's their daily SPF. This is one of the best mineral sunscreens I've ever used. The key with this is just make sure you put on the right amount. You don't put on too much, you don't put on too little. 2 fingers, face and neck for me works perfect, and this moisturizes my skin nicely. This has a really nice moisturizing benefit to it, but you could really not tell at all because this gives you a very natural finish on the face that as the day progresses, you get a little bit more dewy, but it's not heavy at all. I don't feel this on my skin at all, even though it does have squalane up in there. It's a really nice moisturizing mineral sunscreen that preps your skin nicely for the day, wears great underneath makeup, and also you can get it at Target for $25, so worth grabbing. And the last sunscreen we're talking about today is from Kinship. This is their Self-Reflect Probiotic Moisturizing Sunscreen, SPF 32. This one, for me, teeters between being a natural finish, oil controlling, or a little bit more on the radiant side. But having oily skin, this is one I gravitate towards a lot. It's one of my other favorite mineral sunscreen options of last year. This specifically has benefits targeted to more acne-prone skin as well. This is how they wanted to formulate the product specifically, with things to prevent acne, prevent inflammation, and help to increase the healing of breakouts. So worth noting if you have acne prone skin, a really nice option, especially because it is more sensitive skin friendly as well. And then because it is the Self-Reflect, it has a nice sheen on the skin without it feeling heavy or greasy, but this is nicely moisturizing. So this also does replace the moisturizer in my routine as well. And with that, those are my favorite sunscreens specifically for oily skin. Sign up down below if you have oily skin. What are some of the favorite sunscreens that you gravitate towards? And also don't forget, I am continuing this series by highlighting my favorite sunscreens for dry skin, sensitive skin, and also some heavy duty waterproof options as well. So make sure you subscribe to watch those. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and thank you guys for watching. Bye.